I gathered signatures to get Amendment 3 onto the ballot. The same amendment that, again, 1,538,659 Missourians voted to enshrine into our Constitution last November. However, power-hungry politicians within our state's government want to repeal those rights once again. We have witnessed over the last 2 weeks a complete disregard of the 380,000 signatures of Missourians from every county in our state. 3,000 volunteers knocked on nearly 250,000 doors to get abortion on the ballot. In the November 2024 elections, we the people spoke. Abortion is health care, a human right, and it should not be touched by our government. The people of our state passed the Right to Reproductive Freedom Initiative, changing the Constitution of our state and ending the abortion ban. Democracy in action. The people that govern our legislature today do not respect that democracy. Last Wednesday, I, along with 70 other Missourians, within a 24-hour notice, made our way to the Capitol to practice our rights as citizens of the state, to testify against HJR 73. The committee hearing room was full of Abortion Action Missouri volunteers from all across our state. Here we sat for nearly an hour until Representative Holly Jones, the Republican chairwoman, struck her gavel to start the session. The first thing she said was round 2, alluding to back in February, when Abortion Action showed up again in numbers to testify against a different resolution that also failed, just like the 5 before it that we've seen in this legislative session alone. Representative Jones went on to change the rules of the committee and announced for the first time that they will not only be allowing 5 people to speak for the bill and 5 speaking against, effectively silencing the more than 70 Missourians that showed up to share their stories and voice their opposition. They don't care if we drove 3 hours. They don't care if we called off work. They don't care about what any of us have to say about their own unjust actions. Representative Brian Seitz, literally during inquiry, refused to define the word sex as it relates to the language within his own bill. He repeatedly answered questions saying, "That's between me and my wife." Representative Seitz could not comprehend that a word can mean both a verb and a noun. And the reality is, they are destroying our lives. Missouri ranks 40th in the nation on women's health care. Women in Missouri have the most limited access to health care in the entire Midwest. In Missouri, mortality rates for black women are 3 times higher than mortality rates for white women, with 84% of these pregnancy-related deaths being classified as preventable. A crisis is already on our hands, and the actions of our state's legislative body threaten to make it worse. The representatives who carelessly vote to go against the democratic process, who publicly bash their own constituents, call them uninformed, are the same representatives who jump on any chance they can to repeal rights for medical practice for people in our state. But we will carry their actions as their legacy. We will not forget who is signing their names to these changes. They are digging their own political graves. And come 2026 and 28, we will not forget. We are on the front line for abortion rights and reproductive freedom in our state.
What do we do? Stand up!
No one should ever feel like the doors of opportunity are being slammed shut based on their pregnancy status. No one should worry about losing their paycheck or their job. No one should have to travel hundreds of miles to see a doctor to receive critical health care they need, with dignity, respect, and privacy that we deserve.
Yeah.
This has been their plan for over 2 decades. Yes. For over 20 years, they have been undermining the will of the people in this state. They are attacking us on every level of the government. They want us to get tired. They want us to stop showing up and speaking out. But you know what? We're not having that. Not yesterday, not today, not ever. We are going to hold them accountable for the crimes they are committing against humanity and the working class in this country. As a proud union member, I'm standing here today to demand that the will of the people not be ignored. That our governor, attorney general, senators, representatives stop putting lobbyists and oligarchs' interests above our human rights. I demand that they uphold their oath to office and to our Constitution to protect all families and the most vulnerable in our communities, or step the hell down and let someone else lead the charge for change in this state.
Under attack. What do we do? Stand up.
At the discretion of the chair, the people of Missouri were not allowed to testify, as is their right through the rules of our processes in legislation. The people of Missouri were silenced. The rules of the House say that they are able to limit the time that people are allowed to testify. They do not say that they're allowed to limit the speech of the people testifying. They were told what they were allowed to say by their government in violation of the Constitution. So this resolution also, it violates the idea of single subject. In addition to taking away the bodily autonomy of women, it also is taking away the rights of parents to make appropriate medical decisions for and with their children. Last week I heard over and over again that the people of Missouri are too stupid to know what they're voting for.
By the representatives.
At the same time, I also heard admittance that this short resolution misleads the people of Missouri in its language and conflates unrelated issues. If you have to mislead the people of Missouri against their will to get what you want, then this has become the tyrannical government that we so often speak about. Missouri has been clear that the majority of us believe that abortion is a private medical decision. Amendment 3 only passed because of the support of the rural yes votes. I collected signatures for Amendment 3, and we talked to hundreds of people. The initiative petition process is in place so the people of Missouri can pass their own laws when the legislature has failed them. And now the initiative petition process is under attack as well. If the Republican supermajority who has been in power for over 20 years in Missouri wanted to, they could be passing laws which support new mothers. Higher wages, paid sick time, comprehensive sex education, parental leave, and universal health care. Instead, they are trying to form pregnancy databases and criminalize mothers and parents.
When democracy is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When democracy is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When democracy is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
I was 13 weeks along, ecstatic, and just starting to tell people that that's where my pregnancy ended. I pulled over, my husband picked me up from a store parking lot, and I spent the next 6 hours at home in excruciating pain, passing blood and tissue. Did you know that the medical term for a miscarriage like mine is a spontaneous abortion? When I followed up with my midwife, I learned that the term miscarriage does not actually exist in medical terminology. Do you know who definitely has no idea about this?
Yes.
Our anti-abortion legislators. That's right. That's the story for later. I was lucky. My body completed the process naturally, and I did not develop an infection. But I was one of the 30% of women who experienced a spontaneous pregnancy loss. I share this because these legislators don't understand that abortion is a broad medical term that includes miscarriages. So banning abortion means banning miscarriage care, even if they claim it doesn't. During the hearing on HJR 73, the resolution that we're proposing to put abortion back on the ballot next November, the bill handler, Representative Brian Seitz, said that the 12-week ban is not based on any medical guidance or any particular gestational development. No, just because he felt like the first trimester sounded nice.
Yeah.
If my pregnancy loss happened under the proposed abortion ban in HJR 73, would I even be able to find a doctor or medical professional to prescribe mifepristone? You know, for years, under our previous abortion ban, that when politicians interfere with abortion access, even with so-called exceptions to abortion bans, doctors' hands are tied, and pregnant people facing emergencies get denied care. In the spring of 2021, I was again 12 weeks pregnant, this time alone on a work trip in Madison, Wisconsin. I was on a sales call in my hotel room when that same sharp pain hit, but this time the bleeding was immediate and intense. I barely made it to the bathroom before I began passing large clots of blood one after the other. I missed my flight home. I was disoriented. I was on the verge of passing out and trapped between two bad choices. Shelter in place or go to the ER alone in a strange city. No way was I signing up for a $5,000 ambulance ride and ER bill, so my family stayed on the phone with me every 10 minutes, ready to call hotel staff if I stopped responding. When the worst was over, I booked a flight home. My doctor later treated me with mifepristone to ensure that no remaining tissue caused an infection. Restricting access to this medication by banning abortion and threatening doctors puts women in extreme danger. No two pregnancies are the same. No single law can account for the complexity of nature. Missourians agree, and that's why we just voted to end the abortion ban.
Under attack, what do we do?
We made it clear at the ballot, we support access to abortion. Our government should reflect our shared values, not work to overturn the will of the people. This past week, the Missouri House passed House Joint Resolution 73. This, as we have heard, is a deceptively worded resolution that would ask Missourians to repeal the constitutional protections for reproductive freedom that over 1.5 million Missourians just voted in favor of just 4 months ago. Yes, in the current proposed ballot language of this measure, politicians never mention that this measure will ban abortion. That means voters could vote for this having no idea they're supporting another abortion ban. They're trying to trick voters and take away our right to abortion access and reproductive freedom. We will not let them get away with this.